Is there anything more terrifying for a defending American League champion than looking at a bullpen depth chart held together by duct tape and hope? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, and the air in Dunedin is thick with humidity and high stakes. We need to talk about the latest move from the front office because it screams low risk, high reward, but it also whispers a little bit of desperation. The Toronto Blue Jays have officially brought back left-hander Joe Mantiply on a minor league deal. Now, before you roll your eyes and scroll past, ask yourself this. In a season where we are defending the AL crown, can we afford to turn our noses up at any arm that has tasted all-star glory? The narrative right now is fascinating. We are sitting here in spring training, the sun is shining, but dark clouds are hanging over the pitching staff's health. The front office announced on Tuesday that Mantiply, the 35-year-old veteran who spent the last 6 seasons navigating the desert heat with the Arizona Diamondbacks, is coming to camp. He's not just here to sign autographs, he is here to fight for his life. He's entering a gladiator pit to challenge fellow lefties Brendan Little, Eric Lauer, and Mason Fluharty for a coveted spot in the pen. And let's be real, folks, the bullpen needs bodies. We made a splash signing Taylor Rogers, sure, but with Yimi Garcia still on the shelf recovering from elbow surgery, the bridge to the closer is looking a little shaky. This signing isn't just a transaction, it's a signal. It tells us that the organization knows the depth is thin. Mantiply isn't a flamethrower. He's a craftiness over velocity guy, a survivor. But why now? Why bring back a guy who was essentially discarded by Arizona after a disastrous start to 2025? It's because the Blue Jays are playing 4D chess with roster construction. They see a guy who, despite getting shelled early last year, went down to AAA Buffalo in our system last July and quietly shoved. He posted a 3.45 ERA and struck out nearly 30% of the batters he faced down there. That's not nothing. That's a flicker of the flame that made him an all-star in 2022. But here is the conflict, the tension that makes this spring so interesting. We are the defending AL champs. We aren't rebuilding, we are reloading. Does a 35-year-old on a minor league deal move the needle for a team with World Series aspirations? Or is this just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks? The fan base is already split. I've seen the comments. Some of you are saying, great depth move, veteran presence. Others are screaming, why are we dumpster diving when we should be trading for elite arms? It's a valid debate. The pressure is on Ross Atkins and the management. Every arm they bring in now is under a microscope because we know how fragile pitching can be. One wrong move, one blown save in April, and we will look back at these minor league deals and wonder if we did enough. To understand why this move matters, we have to step into the time machine and look at the trajectory of Joe Mantiply's career, because it is a roller coaster that mirrors the volatility of relief pitching itself. This isn't a prospect we are dreaming on. This is a known commodity with a very specific ceiling and a terrifying floor. Mantiply was a staple in Arizona. He wasn't just a guy. For a solid stretch, he was the guy from the left side. Think back to 2021. The world was still weird. Baseball was finding its footing again, and Mantiply emerged as a consistent force, throwing nearly 40 innings with a 3.40 ERA. That was the appetizer. The main course was 2022. That was the year Joe Mantiply looked like one of the best relievers on the planet. He posted a sub-3.20 ERA, struck out more than a batter per inning across 69 appearances, and earned that all-star nod. I want you to remember that all-star game. The National League lost, but Mantiply? He was ice cold. He threw a scoreless inning and struck out Xander Bogaerts. That is the peak. That is the version of Mantiply the Blue Jays are praying is still in there somewhere, buried under scar tissue and bad mechanics. When a pitcher shows you that level of dominance, even for one season, teams will give them second, third, and fourth chances. It's the lightning in a bottle theory. However, history teaches us that relief pitchers are the most volatile assets in sports. They are like stock market penny stocks. One day they are to the moon, the next they are worthless. After that all-star campaign, the decline was sharp. A hamstring strain in 2023 limited him, and his ERA ballooned to 4.62. His strikeout rate plummeted. He lost his bite. He bounced back with volume in 2024, leading the D-backs in appearances, but the quality wasn't the same. And then came the disaster of early 2025. 17 earned runs in less than 10 innings. That is batting practice numbers, folks. That is get him out of the game before he hurts someone numbers. So why does Toronto think they can fix him? This reminds me a lot of when the Jays took a flyer on guys like Robbie Ray or Steven Matz. Different scenarios, obviously, as they were starters, but the philosophy is the same. Identify a distressed asset with elite underlying traits and let the Pete Walker pitching lab go to work. The Jays have a history of tweaking grip, altering pitch usage, or adjusting release points to resurrect careers. Mantiply relies on deception and command. If the Jays analytics department saw something in his AAA stint last year, maybe a return of his sinker's movement or a sharper curveball, then this isn't just a depth signing. It's a reclamation project with a blueprint. We aren't asking him to be the 2022 All-Star. We are asking him to be better than the 2025 disaster. If he can find a middle ground, say a 3.80 ERA lefty specialist who can get tough outs in the 6th or 7th inning, that is a massive win for a team trying to navigate a 162-game marathon. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of the roster math, because this is where things get stressful for the players involved. We are looking at a crowded room, and not everyone is getting a seat at the table. The Blue Jays have been decimated by injuries this offseason, and that context is critical. We lost Bowden Francis to Tommy John surgery. Heartbreaking for the kid. Shane Bieber, who we had such high hopes for, is dealing with forearm fatigue and won't be ready for opening day. Ricky Tiedemann, the prince who was promised, is still struggling to stay healthy. The rotation has holes, which puts immense pressure on the bullpen to eat innings. We brought in Dylan Cease and his massive $210 million contract to anchor the rotation, and Max Scherzer is back to be the warrior he is. But the bullpen is where games are won and lost in October. Brendan Little seems locked in as the primary lefty setup man. He's earned that trust. Eric Lauer is likely looking at a long relief or swingman role, essentially the mop-up duty or the emergency starter spot. That leaves one specific lane open, the left-handed middle reliever. This is the battleground. Last season, Mason Fluharty held that role, but let's be honest, a 4.44 ERA isn't exactly inspiring confidence. Fluharty has options remaining, which is a polite way of saying he's the easiest guy to send down to Buffalo without losing an asset. This is where Mantiply fits in. If he outperforms Fluharty in camp, the Jays can stash Fluharty in AAA as depth and carry the veteran Mantiply. It's asset management 101. But consider the cap hit and the chemistry. Mantiply is on a minor league deal. If he makes the team, he's cheap. If he fails, he costs nothing but a plane ticket home. But what if he succeeds? Imagine a scenario where Mantiply reclaims his form. Suddenly, you have a double-headed lefty monster with him and Taylor Rogers. That shortens the game significantly against lefty-heavy lineups like the Yankees or the Orioles. However, we have to look at the nightmare scenario too. What if Mantiply is cooked? What if the 2025 version is the real him? Then we are relying on Fluharty to take a step forward, or hoping that non-roster invitees like Josh Fleming or Jesse Hahn can catch fire. The margin for error is razor thin. The AL East is an arms race. We cannot afford to have a tryout happening in regular season games in April and May. Every win counts. If Mantiply gives up 3 runs in his first outing against the Red Sox, the fans will be calling for his head immediately. The patience level in Toronto is at an all-time low because the expectations are at an all-time high. We are defending champs. We don't have time for projects. We need performers. This competition in camp isn't just friendly rivalry. It's about survival. Mantiply knows this is likely his last shot at a big league roster. That desperation makes him dangerous, in a good way or a bad way. So, where does this leave us as we stare down the barrel of the 2026 season? The signing of Joe Mantiply is the quintessential Blue Jays move. Smart, calculated, and entirely unsexy. It's not going to sell jerseys. It's not going to make the highlight reels on national TV tonight. But these are the moves that build the floor of a championship team. You need guys who have been there, done that, and have the scars to prove it. Mantiply offers experience in a bullpen that is suddenly looking a bit patchwork due to injuries. He offers a different look from the left side, a contrast to the high-velocity arms we usually covet. Ultimately, this comes down to trust. Do we trust the front office's evaluation of a 35-year-old cast-off? Do we trust the coaching staff to fix whatever broke in him last year? And do we trust that this team has enough depth to withstand the inevitable injuries that will strike again? My gut tells me Mantiply breaks camp with the team. The logic of sending Fluharty down to preserve depth is too strong to ignore, provided Mantiply doesn't implode in Dunedin. But make no mistake, he will be on a short leash. The moment he falters, the next man up will be ready. That is the ruthless nature of defending a title. We are watching a team trying to thread a needle, balancing the budget, managing injuries, and trying to stay competitive in the toughest division in baseball. Joe Mantiply is just one small piece of that puzzle, but sometimes the smallest pieces are the ones that hold the whole picture together. Or they are the ones that get lost under the couch. Only time will tell which one he is. Now, I want to hear from you. This is the most important part of the show. I want you to go down to the comments section right now and tell me, is Joe Mantiply a hidden gem who will stabilize our bullpen? Or is he a washed-up veteran taking a spot from a younger prospect? Do you trust him in the 7th inning of a tie game against the Yankees? Let it all out. I read every single comment. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to stay ahead of every roster move, every injury update, and every rumor surrounding our Blue Jays, you know what to do. Smash that like button like it's a hanging curveball. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a beat, and turn on those notifications. We are on the road to back-to-back titles, and I want you riding shotgun with me. Let's go Blue Jays.